7:14 on a beautiful Tuesday morning. County Judge Mickey Pendergrass at mic number 2. Good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning. Good morning. Happy May Day to you.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just going 90 miles an hour as normal, but that's part of it. And,
Welcome to the judge's office, right? Yeah.
There's always something big going on. I know I went yesterday out to the Ready to Work Center and met a big contingent of different officials and CEOs, manufacturers out there. That is a great program we got going on, trying to get more funding and increase that. It's just helping and training people for jobs, so that that's one of the perks of getting to go to be a part of something like that, that's doing such a wonderful job. But it's a great day to be here, a beautiful day, and it's good to be here to visit with the folks.
So what's going on in the judge's office? You got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. What's this third annual Baxter County?
Well, when we came in the office 3 years ago, it was something had been tried, I think, at least once beforehand, and the National Association of Counties, which represents, I think, it's 3,179 counties and parishes across the country, they set aside April as National County Government Month, and we started feeding off that and having an open house. And the first year we had it, the other officials in the courthouse and other places just really enjoyed it, and they wanted to continue it, and they really liked it because the people get to come in. So we're having our third annual, even though it's in May. We couldn't get a day in April we could all get together. So on Friday from 11 to 2, Baxter County Government Day, it's an open house. We invite everybody to come in to meet their county officials, to tour the offices. All the offices will be open in the courthouse for tours, as well as across the street at the collector and assessor's office. If you go over to the jail, they'll be giving jail tours if the people are there every 30 minutes. So if you want to make an impression on somebody, there's a good place to go over there. We'll have 911 office materials there in the first floor of the courthouse, along with the health department, the extension office, the juvenile office. All will be there to visit with anybody. We always set them up on the first floor of the courthouse. But you want to see, we could get school kids to come through. Now, here's the good part. Now, it's up to you. You're the weatherman here, aren't you?
No, well, yeah.
Friday's not looking good, so
I'm the weather
we
department.
got rain on our party, and it was cold.
I
last
remember,
year, or year before last. But anyway, from 11 to 2, we need the sun to shine, because First Security Bank is going to be grilling hot dogs at the courthouse.
All right.
Bear State Bank is going to be grilling hot dogs over to jail. Arvest Bank, First Community Bank have all donated water. There may be some chips laying around. I don't know. We'll find some. So we're going to give tours. We might even, if we have tour guides, and we're trying to get some of our JPs to come and usually do that, take people over to court complexes. If the judges are opening it up over there, they can see where circuit and district court operate. But all these people here, and if you're not registered to vote, the county clerk will be have a table set up in the hallway.
There you go.
Get registered
to vote,
and come on in, and we'll be celebrating that registered to vote that day, 11 to 2. Now, we're going to put another surprise on you this year. We have been upgrading equipment at Road and Bridge, and we want to show off a couple of pieces.
Good.
So we're going to have one of our brand-new graders and one of our brand-new dump trucks sitting down there on the square for everybody to look at. And if we've got anybody that can host you around, you might be able to see this nice pieces of equipment that we're able to, what your money's being spent on. You know, you're looking at a $240,000 grader and a $125,000 truck. So this is what we're spending your money on, and we're going to be upgrading some more this year. But we want to see some of the things we bought last year and talk about that. So we invite everybody to come down and hope the weather holds out and we can have a party.
It looks like you're going to have a nice morning, because 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 79. But what they're saying is the showers will start in the afternoon when it heats up. So I think you're going to have a pretty nice morning. Saturday's when you got to watch out.
Yeah, see, what am I doing Saturday? I'm not fishing this Saturday. I've got some other functions. We got a pancake breakfast over at Bull Shows, and then, of course, Sunday's Mother's Day, and everybody's got to remember that. And I've got to get up this weekend to be with my mother, who is having health issues in Springfield. But everybody, don't forget your mothers this weekend. They're precious to us. But we want everybody to come out. If that weather sounds good, we'll walk you through all the county offices. We will even have some information on the first floor from our office. You can ride the elevator, walk the stairs like I do every day, see the courtroom, see the history that's posted in the courtroom. If you've not been in there and if you hadn't had it explained what each official does, they're more than happy to do that. In the courthouse, we have the county and circuit clerk, Candy Reese, and the treasurer, Janae Mize, and then myself, county judge on the top floor. And we have legislative auditors in there. Circuit clerk has and county clerk has a lot of space in there, and the old records and the old vaults. And of course, the courthouse is the tornado shelter in town. And we get a lot of people when the sirens go off. We open it up, and a lot of people sit there.
Do you know where the tornado shelter is in Texas? Cowboy Stadium.
Cowboy Stadium.
That's the least likely place for a touchdown.
I can't believe. Oh man! For all you Cowboys fans, Dale said that I didn't. But I would have
a phone
to.
call or two.
That's okay. But we appreciate the banks that's donated to all this efforts. All the 4 banks that I named here, they're always more than willing to come help us out, and they're such a valuable member of our communities, and all the banks that help us, and we appreciate that. And they want us to promote that, and we'd like for you to come on in and see what we've got and what we're doing, and where we work, and meet all the employees. We've got, county employees, 160 people in this county. All total, so we'd love to have everybody come by.
And let me say this. I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it and make it come out right. We as voters or taxpayers or whatever you want, or citizens, we need to understand that the county government is here to serve the people.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, open the doors. Let's meet everybody. This is not a non-penetratable type of situation. The county government is there for you to know about and to know who's running it, whether it's the collector, the assessor, the county judge, the treasurer. Come on down, visit with folks. This is what you're wanting to interact.
Correct.
And you're wanting the people to know what's going on. This is transparency. So many times we're hearing, what's going on behind closed doors. Well, there's not much going on behind closed doors because most of the meetings are always open.
Yes. And the thing that the National Association of Counties emphasizes, and they have a theme this year for their that's Counties Moving America Forward, because the county governments all across the country are the one that's responsible for the vast majority of roads and bridges, for the collection of the funds that takes care of the schools, the fire departments. The county handles all those funds. Matter of fact, the vast majority of the money that we collect in the county, that's assessed by our assessor, that's collected by our collector, that's distributed by the signature of me and the clerk, and the treasurer writes the checks. We distribute all that money out to every county entity. We get the smallest portion of it, and that includes ASU and the library. We collect funds for all these people. And so they're all important functions, and we have a group of elected officials right now that are very personable, love to be around people, love to tell you what they do, introduce you to their health.
And they love to answer your questions.
Yes, they do.
And address the concerns.
And it is working really well. And what I do, and one thing that I know previous judges have done that I always really enjoyed, and when I was on the quorum court, was an off-election year, so it doesn't get tied into the politics of things. We try to have community meetings all around the county, and we kind of centralize on the fire departments in those communities. And we're trying to set those up now. We've got 4 or 5 of them already scheduled, and we'll be releasing and posting that on our website. But all this information, which is another valuable resource, with our website, baxtercounty.org, and we post announcements, meeting dates on there, quorum court agendas on there, our budget is on there the last 5 years, including this one, which changes daily. So all that is available. We've made that transparent for people. We want them to know what we're doing with the money, and what other functions that we sometimes a lot of people, and if you're new to Baxter County or you're new to Arkansas, county government in Arkansas seems to run a little different than most anywhere else in the country. And a lot of people don't understand that the authority or the duties and responsibilities of each elected official. And we love to explain that, and we love to tell you what the law makes us, or what laws we go by, but to carry out the function of our office and what we are responsible for. And so we invite you to come down and meet all of us. And this is something we love to do. And, of course, I talk to people all the time for various reasons, and entertain a lot of people, to visit with them, phone calls, and go out and see. But this even gives us another opportunity. We will have groups of school kids. The alternative school usually brings groups through. We have the Christian Academy, I think, is going to come. And sometimes we get other groups that if they can put it into their schedule, North Fork usually brings a group of students through. History classes or civics classes, something like that. It's always good to entertain those kids and explain to them, because you never know in that bunch who's going to be your next sheriff or who's going to be your next county judge somewhere down the road. So introduce them to it and get them involved.
Now the $150 question. Are the good old boy days of the Democrat Party over in Baxter County, the old boss hog type of government we used to have around here?
Well, we like to think so.
We cut favors.
We try to. It amazes me sometimes how things were expected to operate or what expected favors, and we try to go by the letter of the law and be truthful people. They don't always like to hear the truth. And tell you something that really changed this year. The Quorum Court put in a volunteer tax to fund the Animal Control Center in 2013. Mm-hmm. And last year, through the tax year, we collected just under $7,000, and they had anticipated $100,000. Well, a lot of people didn't know what it was about. They didn't know how to what it was. I fielded some calls, and some things were told that were not true, so money was redirected otherwise. In the first round, when tax collections and the tax bills went out, and the tax collections went out this year, we have already, because of the efforts of our new collector and her and her office staff answer the questions, we have communicated well with them. They've already collected over $22,500 this year, and we're probably a third of the way through real estate property taxes. So that's been a boom that we were not expecting to fund our animal control center. So it's things working together where we communicate and explain and visit and try to work together. That's what we're about, and we'll deal with people's questions. I don't get all my phone calls returned on a timely fashion as much as I'd like to, because I'm going all the time, but I try to do all that, as does everybody else. But you just work through those as much as possible. And, of course, we deal a lot with roads and bridges and subdivisions and properties that need to be cleaned up. But we have a lot of exciting things going on at 911. And the sheriff, we get a new tower. Did you know we have a new repeater tower?
No.
It's going to be able to serve the whole county. We've been working on this
Really?
for a year, and it's on top of Matney Mountain. The tower is erected. We're in the process of getting it done. It's a 190-foot freestanding tower, and there will be other people on there with repeaters, but we think that repeater, as we test it when it goes live, will be able to serve all the county. And dealing with the National Forest and Game and Fish and the State Forest and all those other entities, it's been FAA. It's been a lot of fun, but we were finally almost there.
Wow! And the repeater towers for all the radio equipment throughout the county.
Yes, and we can repeat off of that off our tower at the center, and this tower may be good enough to do the whole county, so that we have if a storm takes a tower out, we got a way to communicate with everybody, with the fire departments, the law enforcement around the county, or road and bridge, whoever, we'll be able to communicate. And
excellent.
This is a really good program, and I'll have to say the National Forest Service has been wonderful to work with. It's a little slow and drudging along sometimes when you're dealing with the federal government. But know about your county government, we're close to the people. We're here. We're doing things every day that affect you personally. Yep. Almost everybody lives in the county, and we try to stay away from the complaints that we all have about the federal government.
Visiting with County Judge Mickey Pendergrass. Real quick, in celebration of spring, to service our veterans, the Alley White American Legion Post 52 is offering a meal of freshly fried catfish for donation of $10 Saturday, May 9th from noon to 3 o'clock. Also, the Gold Star Mothers are invited to be their guests for this special meal. Contact Ed Parkin by May 8th at 870-453-5212 to reserve your spot. Once again, the Alley White American Legion Post having a big fish fry this Saturday from noon to 3 for a donation of $10 there at 717 Market Street. Trying to get used to this new format.
Talking about food, I'm hungry.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm trying to get used to this new format clock. Mike Huckabee's running for president. He's announced today, so he had to resign his position on Fox Radio. So now we're bringing you the news, so stick around. More with the County Judge right after this. Be right back. 7:35 on a Tuesday. The Calico Rock Lions Club will host their second annual all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast this coming Saturday, May 9th. The fundraising event will be held from 7 to 10:30 a.m. and be held at the United Methodist Church Fellowship Hall on Highway 56 in Calico Rock. Menu includes pancakes, sausage, fruit cup, juice, or coffee. Ticket price is $6, $8 at the door day of the event.
Sounds
and
good.
more with our county judge.
Sounds good. There's another Rotary pancake breakfast in Bull Show Saturday, too.
Boy, all kinds of things going on. Yeah.
All this good eating, good food. Well, I leave here this morning, I'm going to a meeting in Harrison to get a summation of everybody that's been paying attention and keeping up with the current events. Legislature for Arkansas just finished their session, and we're going to go get a summation of what laws were passed and acts of the 700 bills that were voted on and passed over there, what affects county government, and especially county judges, county sheriffs. So we'll go over and get a summation on that to be able to get a better feel from our own Arkansas Association of Counties and some of the officials we'll be meeting with. Also, today is Quorum Court Day, first Tuesday. We have a lengthy agenda. We've had some pretty short agendas this year. I think we're going to make up for it tonight. We've got about 16 items on the agenda, which we've been about half
What
that.
all you covering tonight? 16
A
items?
lot of appropriations, plus we're doing our final cleanup for the 2014 budget we have to do so they can do our audit. And we finally got to the point. We've been trying to move that to earlier in the year, and we just keep banging our head against the wall and still end up in May. But that's the last two items, and as well as appropriate the money. The sheriff just sold his four old cars this past week, so we're going to appropriate that money too. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been able to provide him so far with 3 new cars this year, and 3 more to go on this year. So that money has been appropriated, but it's just mostly a normal order of business. We're amending the personnel policy. It'll be the second reading on that, and we're changing things, and we're continuing to work on that. There's more changes we got to make concerning personnel and the policy we have. We're also appropriating the money for the bond forfeiture sale that just took place. That we've got plans. We've got some upgrades to the court complex and other things we're going to do with that money. So that money has come in now, and we're going to be appropriating that. But just mostly the things that Quorum Court has to deal with, which is policy, finances, the money. They have to appropriate it, so we've presented with these ordinances. And a big shout-out goes to J.P. Leon Alexander, who is out of town, not by his choice, but he went back to Memphis to attend the funeral of his brother-in-law, his wife's brother. And they lost 2 other close friends, one of them really close friends. He's on his way back to Greenville, Mississippi today to attend that funeral. So we'll miss him tonight, and our condolences go out to him and his family. Sometimes that stuff comes in bunches, and you just hate to see it. Yeah. There's also a visitation funeral today for a former county employee that a lot of people know, Miss Sharon Ferris, that was a deputy treasurer for a number of years here. And so our condolences go out to their family. But that's what we got going on today. It's regular run-of-the-mill stuff that we have to deal with every day. We stay pretty busy.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about, you mentioned Leon, and I had just pulled this up. And this is really not a county thing, but I know you're going to get a kick out this. The Friends of the Norfolk National Fish Hatchery, in conjunction with the Norfolk National Fish Hatchery, announced the Kids Fishing Derby for 2015 on June 13th. Trout fishing will be open to kids 15 years and under. It'll be divided in 3 age groups, 2 to 5, 6 to 10, and 11 to 15. You go down there for that?
I have.
What do you
yes.
have time?
Yes, when I can, I have it. That group, and I'm a member now. I'm a dues paid member, even where they get my money of that group, and they do a lot of wonderful work and promoting this, and worked hard on keeping that funded. And yes, Leon does a great job with that. But that derby, it's a big deal. They have a lot of vendors down there, and they do a lot of fishing, and it highlights one of the greatest tourist attractions in the country, and it's right here in Baxter County.
Well, we attended the dinner. It was myself, you, Stetson Painter, Kaylee, his bride-to-be now. Congrats, Stetson, Kaylee, and Bob
What
Zador
took you
was
so
there.
long, Stetson?
What took so long, Stetson? Congressman Crawford was there.
Yes.
But the importance And I'm going to harp on this, the importance of keeping that fish hatchery and the one at Heber Springs funded.
Yes.
I want to hear it straight from you about the type of revenue that comes in from that hatchery.
Well, what we get for the investment that the federal government puts into that to keep it open, keep it operating, it is, I've been told, the largest trout hatchery in the country of its kind. We get a return in tax revenues, 100 to 1, a little over 100 to 1. For every dollar the federal government spends on keeping that open, and they're understaffed right now, but for every dollar they keep open, that $100 comes back to local, state, or federal government in tax revenue. That's the tourist traffic, and if you're not close to that, I don't think most people understand how huge an industry the trout fishing on these rivers is. It is huge to Baxter County. People come here from all over the world, literally. You can see that by the shows that they have. The I feel ignorant now.
Salbug?
Yeah, the Salbug Roundup, and we were at the Cotter-Gassville Chamber Trout Festival this past Saturday. Matter of fact, Judge Ott from Marion County and I rode the horses. We had the only horses in there, and they were wanting horses, so he brought two over, and we rode the tail end of the parade. And a lot of vendors, and they had caught some trout down at Dry Run Creek, which is the hatchery, and put into a big spring down there for the kids fishing derby. They had a contest down there. There's a lot of, but it is a huge part of our revenue sources as far as tax revenues, benefits to schools and state and local government, fire departments. It's huge, and it is vastly important that we keep that open, and we keep our eyes on that all the time, and whatever we can do to help that.
Mm-hmm. On the kids fishing derby, I might need to mention that participation is free. Fishing licenses and trout permits are not needed for children under 15.
Correct.
If
Correct.
you're 16 and above, you need to have your trout stamped with your fishing license because all Arkansas state fishing regulations apply. Parents are also required to keep up with the kids and bring the appropriate fishing equipment. So,
if you've not visited the trout hatchery or have visited and haven't been down on Dry Run Creek, that walkway they've got up and down the creek where the kids can fish and handicapped folks can fish off of, it's quite an achievement. And
that's where this takes place.
Yeah, and it's just a joy to set up there and watch the kids catch fish and watch them learn to fly fish, or watch them to learn to throw their rod and their baits out on their rod and reels. It's fun just to watch it, and it's just a wonderful walk. Even if you don't fish, it's an enjoyable and beautiful part of our country and our county.
And what was Leon saying? He was on the program a couple weeks ago. The average annual attendance at the fish hatchery is right at 250,000.
Yeah, it's way up there. It's huge, and that's why it is so vastly important we keep it staffed, and they get fully staffed again, is to allow them to take them tours and take them through where they hatch the eggs, and then the process is where take the trouts from the mama trout, the big trouts, to the brood trout, and then lay the eggs and then hatch the eggs, and how the process they go through to get them to size to where they dump them into rivers. And the vast majority of them goes into Arkansas rivers, so it's a big part of it. But it is quite a process, and there's some science and there's biologists involved, and it's not something that you just go down there and turn some fish loose. It's quite a process. Of course, you'll notice the netting, because we are getting an eagles population here and red-tailed hawks, so they keep them out of the trout because they could dive into those hatcheries and have a nice meal that you can have, by the way, if you fish on the river and catch you a good trout.
Yeah, that's good eating. Well, let's open Pandora's box, the lawsuit concerning the nativity scene on the courthouse lawn.
It is progressing, as most lawsuits are these days. The depositions will be taken next week here. The plaintiffs are coming up, as well as the attorneys for the county, and we'll be giving everybody that's involved, that's been subpoenaed or whatever, will be given their depositions that will be sent back to the federal court, which is going to be in Fayetteville, to federal courthouse. Trial date that has been set is October the 15th and probably 16th. They told me to book for 2 days over there, but the depositions will be gotten out of the way. We'll get all the discoveries taken care of, which we're working on now, and we'll see where it progresses from there.
You're hopeful that it'll go the way we want it to.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's there. Is it legal? Is it not legal? That's what we need to know. When you get into
what would make it not legal?
depending on how a judge rules. I mean, it's hard for me to speculate on because I have read court cases similar. All of them are a little bit different, but similar court cases from all over the country that go both ways. And so it may depend a lot on the judge. It may depend on how the case is presented. It may depend on the witnesses. There's a lot of things that can enter into how this may go, but we quoted a Supreme Court decision with a little disclaimer we put on the courthouse lawn this past winter, and stating that this was a privately funded and openly, and it has the display, not just the nativity scene, it has the Christmas tree, has the Santa Claus, has the reindeer and sleigh, has the presents, I forget what else, and all that is supposed to make it secular according to the Supreme Court decision years and years ago. And a lot of us still work off of that. So that's what the judge will have to decide once he hears the evidence in this case. Is it legal or is it not legal? And that's what we need to know, and then we'll figure out where to go from here. I think the lawsuit is asking for something totally different now, but that's pretty much what I think the question is.
Crazy. Is this a wise use of taxpayer money in your time? I say it's a waste.
But it's a really waste of my time. It is as I have told them. The vast majority of the people here want that down there. They've had been there for some 40 years, I understand, and they like to see that there, and they like to have it wherever it's located. And we did everything we thought that was required to make it available to the people. They have the big parade, they have the announcements, and they're just. Who knows? You can get litigation over about anything anymore. When it's, I think country needs to go, and in this state, including this state, needs to get some reform to that situation where the loser pays, and to stop some of this nonsense, because they're coming in here from national organizations, the American Human Association, Freedom from Religion Foundation, and others, and want to dictate what the people want here. Based upon where it's civil rights, equal rights, whatever they call it, just like the marriage issue that just was heard at the Supreme Court level. Common sense will tell you, nature will tell you, a lot of things will tell you that what the constitutional law that like Arkansas has should define it. And as Judge Scalia said in his presentation here, there are some things not covered by the U.S. Constitution that belongs in the states. And
I say for the state of Arkansas, on this gender confusion, that we need a law that just simply states that Arkansas recognizes your gender as your naturally born gender. Put that in quotes. Born of the natural human process is your natural born gender. Any court in the land cannot argue that. If you're born a male,
it's a biological, it's a natural thing. It's just common sense.
And that's how Arkansas should recognize you're naturally born. I don't care what Hollywood tells you could be, or what New York City tells you what you could be, or San Francisco, California.
Yeah, and it gets back to whether or not you believe in God. And I think the vast majority of people I know here that do that.
Sure, they do.
They not only believe in God, they're like me. They confirm it. And if there's a God, then change the process if you think you're that strong. But he has given us all the freedom of choice. We have the freedom to make our own mistakes, to delve into the worst, most destructive things we can do to our bodies or to our minds,
right?
Or to do something that's not natural. And we have that ability and power that's been given us. That don't mean it's right.
Visiting with County Judge Mickey Pendergrass real quick. Mountain Home School's 8th through 12th grade annual Fine Arts Festivals tonight from 6 to 9. At the Mountain Home High School gym, free admission. Come on out and take a look at all the students' artwork throughout the year. Christy Lawrence. You know Christy Lawrence, don't you? Yeah.
Just a tad, yes.
Just a tad.
Baby girl.
She's in charge of all this. So tonight from 6 to 9, the Mountain Home School's Fine Arts Festival at the Mountain Home High School gym. We'll be right back. 7:53 on a beautiful early May morning.
Yes, and I hope your allergies don't bother you and they're all gone and you're just enjoying this beautiful.
See what I put on Facebook about spring versus winter?
No, I just.
I'd rather sneeze than freeze.
That doesn't seem to bother me much, just every once in a while. But You know, the fish have been biting, and there's a lot of things to do here to get out and enjoy the outdoors in the most beautiful part of the country in which you live, the greatest country on God's green earth, and you live in the best part of it, right here in the Ozarks. So we invite you to get out and enjoy it. Come see us on Friday.
Let's talk about that again. People that just tuned in.
11 to 2, Baxter County Government Day. It's our third annual open house to meet all your county officials. You'll get tours of all the offices. You can visit with elected officials and their employees, and they'll be glad to give you. You can even tour the jail every 30 minutes or so.
Really?
We'll have free hot dogs furnished by the banks here in town, First Security, and the other one is Bear State Bank. It will be furnishing hot dogs to the jail. There was water provided by RVest and First Community. In the courthouse, we will also have representatives from the 911 office, from the health office, from the extension office, from the juvenile offices, and from my office upstairs will be on the first floor. You can register to vote. You can see some of our new equipment that we're spending your money on and what we're able to do.
Yep.
And thank you for the support. Come see how we work it. 11 to 2, Friday, May the 8th, barring rain. If
It ain't gonna rain.
If it ain't raining hard, we're gonna do it. We don't have
Yeah,
we
it's
don't
gonna
have
be
an
good.
alternative date yet that I know of.
It might be a little cloudy, but you wait till about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Might get a shower, but Saturday
we'll be ready to
right.
go home by then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think there's
Out at your wife's other building, you got a car show out there.
Yes, there's a car show.
Century
Saturday.
21 Lemac Real
I
Estate.
kept up with that.
The 8th annual spring cruise in. Once again, First Security Bank's gonna be grilling hot dogs all weekend. They're doing it again on Saturday. Music provided by Big Bad John. All makes, model years of cars. It's a classic Chevy Club in North Arkansas, but all makes and brands are welcome.
They usually have 120, 140 cars out there if the weather's good.
Yeah.
And it's a nice show to come out
It
and
is.
see. And a big parking lot there at that office where so all the vendors up and down through the strip, I think, are starting to participate in that. So.
And being it's Mother's Day weekend, well, this is a good time for mothers to look at what to buy Dad for Father's Day. Go to the car show. Check for sale signs.
Oh, yeah. And you know those ladies at the Chevy Club, they usually they sneak in some cookies.
Oh, yeah.
They have a table there set up with cookies that you can kind of satisfy your sweet tooth to go with the hot dogs. So.
Yep. And then on your Baxter County Government Day, 11 to what time?
11 to 2.
Friday,
May 8th.
Folks, they want you to come. This is, the
We'd
county
love to
government
meet
wants you. This is transparency.
And stay tuned for our community meetings. We've got about 4 or 5 of them scheduled. We'll be posting them on the website and broadcasting it. Come out and see us when we're in your community. We'd love to visit with you.
Yeah,
And we will, and we have other elected officials that wants to come along. We'll invite all of them, including state representatives and senators, if they can fit it in their schedule.
Sure.
So we'll get as many there as we can, but come see us.
That wraps it up. Thanks to County Judge Mickey Pendergrass for being here, and I'm still trying to get used to this new clock. Now it's time for the Sean Hannity.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Mike Huckabee, for running for president. Okay, now it's time for Sean Hannity. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.